I want to start by taking you back in time. I want you to go back in your mind to the 5th grade. And if you can't live 5th grade, just go when you were a kid. But you were probably around 10 years old. I want you to think about who your teacher was, picture him or her. Look around the room, remember some of your classmates. I'm going to describe to you one little girl. And I know you'll recognize her because we've all known her, we may even have been her. She's a little girl that's always perfectly dressed. Shoes are always tied. She never gets dirty. She sits on the front row of the class and she leans forward to hear everything that the teacher says. She always turns her assignments in on time or maybe even early. And if she gets anything less than an A+, she cries. So this little girl basically is trying to achieve perfection. And that little girl is me, or was me. So that little girl and who she grew up to be are my why. I want to show you a little picture to capture some of this. I'll pass around so you can look at that. Here I am, around 10 years old in my little tutu, going to a ballet recital. You'll see that I am posed perfectly. My hands are perfect. I used to get so upset because my sister would not have her hands perfect in the pictures. And you'll notice I have a little smile on my face. If you look closer, you'll notice it doesn't look very genuine. That's because the smile is saying, behind the smile I'm saying, hurry up and get this over with so I can go and obsess about how I might mess up my dance. So I was ruled by wanting to be perfect. That was my MO. And there are a lot of reasons for this. I'll share a couple. One is that I'm the classic take charge firstborn. I want to get in there, take action, and get it done right. Also, my mom was a very young mom. And I picked up on that. She basically says I was a baby raising babies and I didn't know what I was doing. So even though my sister was just 2 years younger than I kind of became a second mom. I felt a great deal of responsibility for her. And one incident that we were actually talking about last night that came to mind is that we took her to the doctor when she was an infant to Eggleston. We came back out to the dark parking deck and my mother had locked the keys in the car. And that whole experience just really traumatized me. And so for many months, maybe even years, I don't remember that part, afterwards, here I am, 2.5 now. Before I got out of the car, I would say, give me the keys, because I wanted to make sure we were safe. We weren't going to have to be back again. So even at the age of 10, I'm embarrassed to say, I didn't suffer fool's gladly. I had very little patience. I was all about fairness and doing things right, forget compassion. If something went on, I pulled up my bootstraps and moved on. I expected everybody else to do the same thing. So that was kind of who I was when I was a kid. And my performing and perfectionistic ways followed me all through school. Excuse me. My perfectionistic ways followed me all the way through school. I measured my success by the awards I won, the grades I got, the job I ended up getting. And I climbed the proverbial corporate ladder. Had the big title, the big fancy office, which at the time I was so proud of. I had a national team I managed. I also traveled every week for almost 9 years. And I was very tired, I was impatient, I didn't like who I had become. And my turning point came one Saturday afternoon. My friends were out at Chattahoochee, floating the hooch. I wanted to go, but as usual, I had to work. So I was in my office, you can probably picture it. I had lots of receipts to be expensed. I had fast food wrappers from the lunch that I had grabbed on the way. A full inbox, because we had a lot of paper back then. And I remember looking out the window at the day and just feeling really resentful. And I got really ticked off. And I said, you know, why am I the only one who's always here on the nights and the weekends? This isn't fair. Where is everyone else? And I had one of those light bulb moments. And I don't know why it took me so long. But I said to myself, well, Carla, they're not here because they chose not to be here. You can choose not to be here too. You have that choice. So it seems absurd looking back that I didn't realize I had a choice. But my mantra was work hard, get it done, be the best. You know, you're supposed to be the best. And so I was doing what I was supposed to do. I never really stopped to think, well, what do I really want? So I moved on from there to changing some habits in my work, and I went through a career counselor and started kind of plotting my next move. It took me a good year to grapple with what do I want to do. And I worried a lot about what people would think. You know, oh, what are they going to think if I don't have the big title and I don't have people reporting to me, and does it make me less than if I take a pay cut, and all these ridiculous things. Essentially what it boiled down to is I was like, well, who am I if I'm not Carla, the VP, kicking butt and taking names? You know, it's like, well, who am I? And it turns out I found out I'm a lot more than that. I began to realize, and I've shared this before, that I'm a human being, not a human doing. And I get my worth from who I am. I started focusing on who I am as a person, what my character is, and less on my accomplishments and what I did. I realized that God wanted me to live a full, well-rounded life, not a one-dimensional life that was focused on performing and trying to prove myself all the time. And so I went to I started working at the American Cancer Society, as Galen said. I really enjoyed my work there. I made a lot of lifelong friends, and I had a great life outside of work too. I actually built a life outside of my work. I was intentional about determining what is my purpose, what do I really want to do, and how do I want to impact the world. And that is why I eventually became a coach. So let me tell you a little bit about my transformation. I went from this little girl. It was all about performing and trying to prove herself, and continued to do so until she was an adult, until my early 30s, really. And I picked this picture. This is my wedding 4 years ago. Now, I'm a much happier person. I relax a lot more. I go on adventures. I'm spontaneous. I actually like to take us for a moment trip. Wow. I get down on the floor with my nieces and nephews and become one with them. I actually have a lot more fun today than I ever did as a kid. And that's what I want for other people. I want women to be able to just kick perfection to the curb, don't try to perform so much, really truly enjoy their lives. And I've traveled the journey, I know the landscape, I've come up with ways, programs and approaches to help women get from performing to really enjoying their lives faster than they would on their own. And my dream is for every woman, my vision is for every woman to truly embrace who she is and live her whole life, not just a one-dimensional life. And one of the most rewarding things for me is to see a client transform. And I think about my client Stephanie. When she first came to me, her face always looked tired and kind of downfallen. And now when she talks about her life, she lights up. And that's what I want for every woman. That's what she deserves. That's my wife.